thumping a microphone. Some of my headphones are pissed off.
Right.
Yeah, it looks like it's working. I don't see no thumping of the microphone. Cool. All right, we are live. It's official. With low latency. I can hear myself.
With low latency.
It's that new fancy firewall I installed, you know. Got all set up and everything else, and, you know, make sure these streams go good. We got to make sure all the packets flow and smooth and our traffic managed and shaped and all that happy shit.
Yes.
How They Get Hacked, episode 36.
36.
Yeah, Tom Lawrence.
Xavier D. Johnson.
Maurice Nash.
Yep, and we've had a fun day. So, at least I did so far. I don't know. Maybe some potential work for Xavier. Like the last phone call we got of the day was someone who may need a large incident response. So I'm like, I know a guy who can unfuck you.
Potentially.
Potentially. Well, at least he'll at least determine who fucked you.
Right.
You'll know when you're done.
We'll do some investigation.
Investigation and everything else. It's unfortunate because it's always, you want it to be real exciting. What does it say? Lawrenceburg. Nice. You know, we love talking about the real advanced hacks, but unfortunately, sometimes when you're doing incident response, it's not always advanced. Sometimes it is, though.
Yeah.
And you get to see some cool stuff, but other times you're like, why'd you guys leave your RDP open? Why don't you have two-factor on? It's like, anytime I've been involved with any of our clients, it's ones who've always declined to do this. I've yet to see anyone truly bypass 2FA, not like SIM swapping, but literally hack it and find a new undiscovered flaw in a product, and that was the result of our client's hack. That day hasn't come yet.
No.
So, not to say it never will.
It shall at some point.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, there's definitely some advanced shit out there. So, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the advanced shit and the attacks. And I think that's something important to keep in mind on security, because I see people freak out about really advanced hacks very frequently, but you're more likely to click on a fucking phishing email. That's
way more likely.
I got an email today from Capital One, and it was telling me something about paying a bill, and it looked so low quality that I closed my email application and directly went over to my Capital One to check to see if I had a bill due, which I do. But I'm like, man, you know, like, these people aren't making it easier for me to spot by delivering me quality email marketing or email, you know, drip campaign content. You know, if you want me to be able to spot a phisher, stop hiring ex-phishers. And like, because like, this thing had every hallmark of a phish. It had low quality graphics that looked blurry. The font was too big. It looked like it was all one image in an image map. Mm-hmm. I was just like, wow, yeah, like, I don't want to click anything in this. Let me just go to the Capital One app. So, yeah, even the best of us, right? Like, the next time I see that, I'm more susceptible to click because I'm like, hey, well, maybe it's really an email from Capital One.
Yeah.
I received a spam phone call. I think it was this morning, actually. It was like early, like 8 a.m. You know, we talked about the tax fraud. You know, where they call you like, this is the IRS.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just some people in India. They have a new one now where it's like your social security number has been used in commission of a crime. Call this number now, and you know.
Oh boy.
I actually have the number. I'm gonna call him and you know, mess with him later.
You know, I was calling him mess with him, and then I was just like, yeah, I don't know. I kind of felt like I feel as though I'm not angering the right person. Because, like, the person that's on the other line, it's just some poor dude that applied for a job somewhere. And he's like, look, my job is to call and be a dick. I'm actually not. I make, like, the minimum wage here. Some boss above me makes all the money.
I mean, if you are participating in spam calls, you get hit just like the boss.
You should quit your job if that is your job.
Yeah, that's a shitty job.
It's a shitty job. You shouldn't have it, so.
It's a shitty job.
Sorry about that.
This weekend attacks. What do we have?
It's been crazy.
There's been a lot. Unfortunately, I didn't have a ton of show notes, but there's definitely a few big things that dropped because since we weren't here, we were doing other shit on last Friday. You know,
holiday stuff.
Holiday stuff still coming up.
I got sick, like really next level cold dying on my bed sick. It was terrible.
Ooh.
So like,
So
you know,
dramatic.
I don't really get around people very often because I work for myself and I'm like not in the office and stuff. So when I went out to go hang out with people for Thanksgiving, I basically was doing 2 parties a day and maybe encountering 30 to 40 people a day for about 4 days straight. So 160 people later, I got sick and it was terrible.
Sounds awful.
Yeah. So it was a really rough week for me because like my body's been fighting off being sick. This is the first day I actually feel well. And yeah, it was no joke.
So I went and looked at dead bodies.
Oh no.
Well,
Yeah, you know. They have it on display over in Grand Rapids. And my daughter's on her way to be a doctor. And I seen there was a thing. And that thing where they do the plasticized bodies where they take the organs out and they take the whole body apart. It's fucking
it
crazy.
just show you the different stages of a body.
Yeah, dude, it's wild because it's all real people.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
It's
They had that at the Science Center one time where they showed you basically the anatomy, every single layer of the human body, the skin to the nerves.
because these are this guy is from Germany and he came up with this way he injects plastic into people's veins and it takes them back apart. It's wild.
Oh.
It's creepy. You also aren't allowed to use your camera phone or anything, so there's no video, no phone. They're very strict about that because apparently my understanding is because they're cadavers, they didn't give permission for you to film them.
Right.
So they donated their
I
body
mean,
to
but
science.
it's also just about basic decency and privacy
Yeah.
of the cadaver.
Of the cadaver.
I mean, and their
So,
family.
yeah.
Even though we know it's just a vessel, but still.
Yeah.
You don't want
It's
to
still-
you don't want to be online and just see like your old uncle just being, prodded to pieces.
Most of the bodies were what they refer to as degloved, as in they removed the skin. So it was interesting. My daughter was like fascinated by it. I'm like, well, I guess she really does want to be a doctor, man, because this didn't gross her out at all. It's a little creepy.
Oh
Anyways.
man, yeah. I don't know about the degloving of humans. That sounds a little.
Yeah.
That sounds a little scary.
Peel that
Dude.
layer of skin off.
My daughter's not normal. Like she follows all those creepy Instagram accounts like that. There's a bunch of medical Instagram accounts for injuries and medical procedures and stuff like that. And she's all like flipping through it and always showing her little brother. And he's like, "Oh God!" She's like, "Look at this amputation." I'm like, "No, don't look at the amputation."
I mean, you guys know. You remember the old Orgrish? Is that what it used to be called?
Yeah.
Orgrish days, faces of death.
Rotten.com?
Rotten is the new Orgrish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've been around for a while, but she actually likes the medical stuff. And there's like
since the internet has been invented, that has been a thing. We used to show each other that in middle school. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Look at the dead body.
all that crap we do is wrong. Anyways, let's get to some tech news because I think we've thoroughly grossed out Xavier. So we're going to start here. Strandhog.
Strandhog.
And I believe that means tortured by Vikings. Promon Security researchers have found proof of a dangerous Android vulnerability dubbed Strandhog that allows real-life malware to pose as legitimate apps with users unaware that are being targeted.
Yes.
And yes, my fancy new, I'm holding in, I know it's small on the camera, I'm holding a new Android 10 base phone and fully patched as of December 5th was the last patch they had. And it still is affected by this. I don't know what Google's going to do about this. And what Strandhog can do, it's kind of loosely based on, if I'm not mistaken, it was the University of Pennsylvania did some research a couple years ago. And this comes down to the Facebook Chatheads application. They're exploiting a feature that they added to the Android stack that allows overlaying. And from there, they were to extrapolate ways to use that. And the really TLDR understanding of this is it can overlay on top and then be able to emulate that you're putting it in where you're not putting it in as far as data input. So now you're accessing something and exploiting that vulnerability. And now Google's been good, and the reason they were dismissive of the University of Pennsylvania's research is because they said, oh, no, we policed the market really well. And that part may be true. They've gotten better about policing the market, but these apps allow third-party droppers in there to update and load more apps. So there's definitely ways would you notice if you're hacked, blah, blah, blah. Now, the vulnerability is not as bad as it sounds. It's bad, but if you're just loading normal commercial apps like I am, it's not like I'm worried about it and I got to throw out my Android and switch to iPhone all of a sudden. If you're just loading your standard popular apps, which I do, I use the Google App Suite. I use genuine apps from a couple developers.
Tom,
They
does your family make whiskey
might.
in Lawrenceville, Lawrenceburg? The name of this bottle, I don't know if you've ever noticed this.
Yeah, it's Lawrenceburg.
You see that?
Mm-hmm. Lawrenceburg, Kentucky.
No, you see that right there?
No, I didn't. I gotta not look in the light. The
What's
bullet.
that? What's that name say?
Oh, Tom Bullet?
Tom Bullet.
I didn't know that.
Tom Bullet, based out of Lawrenceville.
Tom Bullet, based out of Lawrenceville.
Tom Lawrence.
made the whiskey.
Oh,
I'm starting to think this is a bathtub brew. I'm sorry.
It's a bad.
The more I drink this, the greater attention to detail.
I see.
Xavier's focused in on the name of the whiskey. But a short answer, don't throw away your Android. Google's probably going to address this. And as long as you're loading...
Or
apps.
crazily, just crazy thought here. Throw away your Android. Just crazy thought. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You could also... you could
Just throw it away.
You could just throw it away. No, I'm kidding. We're all on the same playing field at this point.
Or go to a...
Pager.
You go to a pager. No, you got to see this. I don't know if you've seen this yet.
Librium.
Purism.
Librum.
The Libre M5 USA edition. They're
What is
building
it?
a phone in the
Is it
USA,
2K?
man.
Is this the phone we
That's
reviewed last week,
Yeah.
last show?
Yeah,
That
but
2K
now,
is pretty expensive, though.
well, no. This is the USA model of it. They made an all built in the USA model. I can't tell if this is a joke or not, but it's on their website, so I don't know. Purism announces a $2,000 Libre 5 USA, same as the Libre 5M, but just made in America. The Libre 5M was like $500.
Oh, you know why?
Yeah,
Where was the other one made?
China. This is the USA made one.
Tariffs.
Right. So if you
No,
want one actually
wasn't?
built here in the US, it's
They're
going to
pandering.
cost you 2 G's.
They're just pandering. They're making a point. They're driving a point home.
I think that's what they're doing.
And I'm still going to buy it for 2 G's.
Well, if you want the US version.
Fuck it. America.
America. Well,
Fuck that.
the
Germany.
modem chip is Germany. and
Oh, that's a
Wi-Fi
part of the
card.
Five Eyes.
Yeah, and the chassis still China. But the
Then
guts,
it's
the
not
part that
American.
matters, the PCB, the main board, that's the part that matters. This is where, because who cares if China made the chassis?
Right.
That's just the metal part. I ain't worried about that. But secure supply chain. I think it's interesting that they offered this. I don't know.
It makes sense that, if you are a government agency, maybe it lends well that you use an open source phone that's made 100% in the United States. Because not only can it be peer reviewed and audited, but you know that the supply chain is pure and secure. And if it isn't, it's within your jurisdiction to,
Yeah.
prod into
Yeah.
to make sure. Like, hey, I want to know every single thing about this.
I do like their website.
I'm a fan. It's a brick of a phone, though.
It's a brick of phone.
That's a brick of a
I kind of
phone.
want one.
I want one.
I don't know that I want the USA one or not, because I don't know if I'll use it that much. But the other products they have, like Libre 5M, we talked about this last time. I like the Purism laptops. I kind of want one just to test it out and to dive into it a little bit. You know what I mean? It seems kind of interesting. It runs Linux and everything else, so
I would definitely like to unbox it.
yeah, I like their
Hey,
laptops.
Robert Thomas Zamora. I'm potentially going to Costa Rica, so hopefully I'll see you there.
Very cool. But that's the Strand Hog. What else we got in the news?
Good old oink oink strand hog.
Now, this, granted, it's a complicated attack, but it is absolutely an attack that a nation-state actor would use. It seems less likely because it's not like your easy man-in-the-middle hijack a router.
Right.
You're using a router capable of... Because this is one of the things I really looked at when I dove into this. And I did a video to dive deeper into this CVE of how you can infer and hijack on a VPN tunnel TCP connection. But it takes a router that actually has the capabilities to do. It has the tool set to be able to do everything. So taking over someone's Linksys home router ain't gonna cut it. You know, I mean, they're pretty powerful, and maybe they could get the stack built on there, but this is a pretty in-depth thing. So when you attach to a VPN and tunnel things, so if I tunnel everything on my laptop, I have my local IP in my laptop, and I receive an extra IP for the tunneling on the VPN. And what happened was the RP filter. What RP filter does, it was normally set to strict, and they set it to loose. Why did they make that change? Well, they said when I change adapters, so I have my tunnel IP address, I have my local IP address. My local IP address was provided through Wi-Fi, but then I plug a network jack in. they decided in November of 2018 it was better to default to a system that would allow changing of the network dynamically without dropping the VPN connection. That's where the flaw comes in.
Yeah.
That little extra means the tunnel will listen to the changing local IP address. So you spoof against it and you discover the tunnel address through guessing and responses that the kernel gives by letting you know that it exists, and then you start forging packets into it. That's kind of the overview of how it works. I did a deeper dive in the video to really dive into it. It's a not, I don't feel it's like a super likely attack due to its complexity, but nation states, when they can sit at the ISP levels and really poke at a VPN, because this is where I don't know.
You mean like China and all those people that I don't know, maybe wanting to VPN in and out of their great
firewall and things like that. Yeah, China using against its own citizens would be an example, because this does affect WireGuard, this affects IPsec, this affects OpenVPN. So your major VPN protocols are completely affected. Tor is not. Zero Tier is not, by the way. You know, completely different concept and how that works. But so they're not affected by it. But what I think you would see is nation states that have access to an ISP. The part that these people did not do the research because they just didn't do this at scale. When they release their proof of concept, it will be interesting to really dive into it and see on the public WAN, will it accept other types of conditions? Is that compiled into routers with the RPC filter loose as a router acts as a client to secure two sites? And then would that give them an edge in there? I think that's where the bigger implementation could be. But it takes someone hacking the ISP, which is, of course, three-letter agencies. Or, you know, whatever the agency is in the country of choice. So it's a definitely interesting attack. It needs to be fixed. It's a sign of CVE. It's not that I'm trying to dismiss it, but I am saying it's not likely.
Also, it could be insider threat.
Insider threat for sure. Oh,
right.
Yeah.
At the ISP, spies.
Yeah.
That have made their way into a position where they are like senior network engineers and can own parts of.
That's a good point.
Of networks, because we all like. If you haven't, go to your YouTube, type in DEF CON space. No, actually, this was a Black Hat talk. So maybe it was DEF CON, one of those two, DEF CON or Black Hat. There was a talk that was given about spies and their operational security failures.
Oh,
So you know, they're in the world and they actually they operate.
And if you read Snowden's book or listened to Snowden's interview, and they talk about this, and one of the things that you need to think, and I remember making someone I used to work with very, very angry who loved conspiracy theories because the government was all after him. I just flat out told him, I said, you're not that fucking important. And he didn't like hearing that. But I'm like, the government's really not after you. And Snowden talks a bit about this. Like, they do buy off assets. They buy it penetrate a ISP, someone who has a value, but they don't want to burn that asset. And how does that asset get burned? Well, you use that asset. You use them to get that. And then the company discovers someone was exfiltrating data, and then Twitter this happened, 2 weeks ago, Twitter just popped a couple people that were spying for another government. They burn the assets. And there's always that risk of you use the assets. So they have to value that, they have a value they assess on that asset. They know they're not easy to get. Not everyone will turn. They have to leverage them. And then when they pick a target, they know the risk of exfiltrating data against that target means their asset may get lost. Their asset may get caught at the job they have and lose their job. So you have to make sure you pick the target of enough value to warrant the risk associated with losing an asset. So there's a lot to it. It's a complicated system of, it's spy games. And it's kind of, in some ways it is like you see in a movie, but when you're dealing with it, they do assess it and they do place a value of, I want this target, but I don't want them bad enough to burn that asset because that asset may be valuable against a higher value target. Those are the type of assessments, and Snowden talks about that, how that is broken down as a procedure and a value proposition in there. It's kind of like a business decision. So it's not likely, unless you are doing something the government has an interest in, that you'll be attacked by this, is what I'm saying. And my friend I used to work with, he just wasn't that fucking important. He really thought he was. He was always thinking the government's going to get him. I'm like, dude, you're just some dumb guy that collects porn. Like,
also, if he was some dumb guy who just collected porn and also used encryption, then like he's bettering his chances of the government not prying.
Yeah. He just does because he was
Encryption.
outspoken online and things like that in forums. This is before Facebook and that. He was on forums. 'Cause he did have one of my favorite sayings. If the government says I can't have it, I must need 2 of them. He was one of those. He used to crack me up, dude. The guy had so many guns, so many, and he thought that's why the government was after him. Like, dude, you bought them all legally. You have a legal gun collection. They're all registered. Like they don't care,
Right.
dude. But I have a lot of them. Maybe they care. They're watching me as I have 20 pistols. No, you need a
Nope.
hobby.
No, because all I gotta do is shoot you in your hand, and then what?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? You
are you
don't
gonna
go
do?
practice with your left hand when you go shooting. It's like game over.
Anyways, it was fun working with him though. He said a lot of dumb shit.
If they really want to do gun control, they just cut the fingertips off of humans. I'm just gonna toss that out there.
What? No, I'm not going to even allow you to suggest that. No.
seems like a
What do you
bad idea.
mean? That is a terrible idea.
Snip, snip. Let's play a game.
So we mentioned this a few weeks back, and lost files, issues with backup management keep affecting Medicaid and other services. In Louisiana, is still not recovered. So the state's Office of Motor Vehicles reopened offices on Monday in a limited fashion. I mean, this is the real world where the people get screwed over. I mean, the DMV sucks to go to in general. It sucks worse after they've been hit with malware. I mean, I spend like half the day there to get a title renewed. I can't imagine, like, oh, they got malware too? I mean,
God.
so there's still, it's still a big mess over there. And this is the interesting thing about these malware. And there was another conference, another talk. I think it was Datto and Hunter Slabs just did a webinar a couple weeks back, and they talked about how the hackers have just become, it's their mainstay to go after your backups as part of the process. It's not even just the malware and the ransomware. They make sure you lost your backups on it, so you got to pay them. Like they know, oh cool, we know there's better backups out there. Hey, cool, you're using them, awesome. Let's go disable them. And they talked about the ways that happens and everything else. So these are real concerns, and they really suck for people involved. Because this is like very much a human capital problem at that point, because you're getting fucked as a person on there too. Let's see. Kind of related, more ransomware attacks. And it's the same thing. Each one of these is attacks, and this one very specifically is 110 nursing homes cut off from healthcare records and ransomware attack. And my understanding is this goes a little bit worse. So the latest update on this, and let me see if even Krebs has this information in there, was there was some employees that got interviewed that says, oh no, it's not only that we can't restore this for the doctor's offices. Employees are like, we're not sure if we're getting paid because it took down the whole company. Now the company may declare bankruptcy.
Yeah.
So
This has happened more than once.
yeah.
That a breach has forced the company to close.
Mm-hmm. So this is the full out disaster type thing here.
Yeah.
Cyber insurance people.
Yeah, I don't. Here's the question:
insurance.
they're asking for $14 million. So does the insurance cover it? I think that's the ask was $14 million.
Who asking for 14? The hackers?
The hackers. So
That's odd.
That's
I've
really-
never heard a hackers asking for 14 million.
I think it
I've
was
never
14
heard of a
million.
hacker asking for 14 million.
Yeah, $14 million in ransom exchange for a digital key. I mean, and that's the whole problem. I think it's one of those insurance companies go, "We're out."
Ooh, that's
No, that's just
that sounds like somebody who doesn't want them to recover.
Yeah, that's a possibility too.
that sounds like an insider
Yeah.
that works for them, has ransomed
They'll
them,
never
and
be
wants
able to
14
recover.
million. I can't imagine a hacker
the goal of the
overseas wanting
ransomware people
14
are to
million.
come up with a negotiated term so they get paid. Because if you make it too high, you don't get paid. You
100,
did all your
200,
work for nothing.
100.
This is what hackers know. That's why 14 million
That means
sounds
that
like
this
something
sounds
with
like,
a
this
vendetta.
sounds very targeted because
Yeah.
like if this was just me randomly infecting people, I wouldn't want 100,000 people to get infected with my thing that wants to pay me 14 million. That's impossible.
See, the thing is, for me, why the 14 stands out, as a hacker, just say an overseas hacker, wouldn't even know this company can pay you 14 million.
14 million is a big number.
That
for
would have to
somebody
be someone who
outside of
knows
America.
this company is doing 14 million in
In
business,
business,
and can
yeah.
pay me.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna joke. I'm laughing at no self. They call me handsomeware.
Don't shovel the snow.
No,
alright?
so that's how you infect them with your ransomware.
Infect them with your handsomeware.
Don't shovel the snow.
I ain't mad, dude. Hashtag that. That's great. Yeah, it's a mess. I don't know. It's one of those things. It's going to get worse before it gets better. I'm going to be hanging out and talking about security posture and all kinds of fun stuff over at Huntress Labs. And we're going to have some discussions about what to do about the MSP industry, ideas we have around it. And we're going to be doing a whole live stream on with Huntress Labs about their just all about security posturing, and we're going to have a lot of fun talking about that because this is what the problem is. I'm willing to bet the debrief is going to be as boring as we talked about at the beginning. A bunch of open stuff. Someone clicked a phishing email. No 2FA on anything. Like there's just going to be this.
It's mostly going to be about phishing.
Mm-hmm.
Stop clicking the links, people. Stop.
That too. Now, I had no time to validate this, but I will leave you a couple links to it in the show notes here. So this person did an interesting thing. This was posted over in Reddit r/NetSec. That's how I discovered this. And from the upvotes and reading of the details of the NetSec, and this is because it's not too long, it's 32 pages, but there's a lot of detail in here. And it's all about how the near-field contact system is working with payment systems. And it's an excellent breakdown. Like, there's a lot of detail in here. And I have not validated this person's claims. But they took the time to write this up, and it looks pretty legit of all the flaws currently in that system. And one is weird they did it in Google Docs, but also thank you for doing it in Google Docs because websites get taken down, websites get removed. It's hard sometimes to print a website into some type of easy fashion. This can be downloaded as a PDF right to your computer. You know, you can have your own copy of this in case this research goes away at some point. But it's a good breakdown of all the different challenges and some of the flaws and potential ways they read it. It's also, once again, because when people talk in detail how they did their reverse engineering like this, this gives you an idea for people who says, how do we get started in it? Try to replicate what someone else is doing. This guy gave you all the details of how he did this. Follow through it, follow the research, get the tools, and start poking at it. It doesn't look like there's anything. Do I see an Arduino board in there? Is that what that is? That looks like an Arduino. I didn't even read the parts list on here that he used for this. This is all, and I'm sure none of it is crazy amounts of parts. But I mean, it's some pretty cool stuff though, for sure. But there's if you want to start poking, there's so many things out there to pick as a topic to do security research on. We noticed straight away, well, because Google added that preview function. It's like, right there, guys, there's a new preview function. How is Google scraping it? What makes them choose a thumbnail? That's what you look for, a new feature. Start poking away at it. Start asking the question at it. The VPN vulnerability, very detailed exactly how to replicate. For the most part, the full proof of concept wasn't posted until there's a mitigation for it. But they talked through the tools. They talked through the methodologies in it. And, and funny, when me and Xavier talked about this earlier, his question was, what made this person think of this? And I made a joke, but, he's very serious. That's a very good question about it. What makes someone think of that? And it's keeping your mindset of a hacker. That's it's the whole thing. What if is how that question starts. What if I poked at it this way? What if I tried to spoof the tunnel address at the kernel level? Will it accept packets that didn't come from the IP address? Well, it turns out some machines will, some machines won't. Then that led that person to finding out that compile error that I covered in it. So it's one of those things. It's a lot of it, even if you don't gain knowledge from exactly the hack itself or whether or not this hack is valid, the fact that they took the time to document their methodologies of how they sniff the contactless payment is very fascinating. That was the part that I found the most interesting about this. So, yeah, NFC's been dangerous. Yes, it has. It's
forever.
The newer the technology, the more you poke at it. Which I also did some more poking at my Tesla security because I've been wanting to do that. I figured, well, it was a perfect opportunity. I got a new phone, so I had to sync the phone to it. So I know the methodology that if you had my passwords, you can't get my car. I learned that. I can confirm that now.
Okay.
The new update fixes all the previous ones where you could just load the password to activate the car.
Okay.
So I'm still got to find, I'm going to do a write-up on this and do a video because someone has a video that has a lot of views, but they're wrong in that video of how it works. So, and it's a YouTuber who doesn't do tech videos. They do fluff videos. They're not technical. They do car videos. So,
I heard about something that happened at CMU earlier this year. FBI had something called ransomware something. Ransomware Summit. Ransomware something. Yeah, Ransomware Summit, I think is what it was called. Basically, they had a whole bunch of people from the InfoSec community, all ransomware experts, get together and
nice.
talk about ransomware. and how it's been mitigated, and how to think about this stuff moving forward. I thought that was really interesting. It was closed doors, of course, because it's the FBI, but it's just interesting to see that they're reaching out to the community like, hey, we don't really know what to do about this. It's starting to get aggressive.
I think that's something we're going to see a lot more of, is the government getting involved in ways like they have a write up, and I'm trying to remember, it was a while ago, but there's a bill going through Congress, and it's about the new purchasing mandates that they have. And the purchasing mandates require, as part of if we're going to buy this device, whatever the device the government wants, that it be supported with firmware updates for so amount of time. They actually have some prerequisites that are very generalized. That way, it's hard for these companies to get around them. Like, you must provide security updates and patch updates to any CVEs. But they never had that before in the purchase agreement. I know it's not a foolproof thing, but it's a step
hasn't
in the right
been
direction.
explicitly written. But when it's old, it's old. Throw it away and get the new thing.
Yeah. But one of the problems is...
It's not meant to last forever.
But when they build a one-off for the government, and there's no one pen testing it, there's no one CVE, if the CVE comes out for some product the government uses that it's also used by the general public, there's not always the obligation these companies had. Now it is a mandate by when you decide from a purchasing standpoint that you buy a product that comes with support and patches. So... it's a step in the right direction. The government's got a long way to go, and hell, the private sector does too. But
I just think from a business standpoint, like, a company wouldn't really like that, because I'm not making as much money as I would.
oh yeah,
Which is the main point.
It's the government. That's the problem. They're making too much money off the government. My tax dollars are flying out the door for bullshit all day. If they can slow that down a little, I am happy. If you ever want to read some serious bullshit, go back and dig into the TSA money grabs. There are a ton of scanners that companies were paid fortunes, millions and millions of dollars to develop scanners that never worked.
Yeah.
There's a whole
I did see
article,
that.
there's a book about it, all the money that was grabbed in there, and these companies were just cranking out unrealistic magic box scanners that allegedly would do things because the salespeople sold it. Then they hand it to engineers and they go, "You sold them fucking Star Trek, dude. Like, it doesn't work this way."
I mean,
We will let you know the exact amount of fluid liquids inside of every container.
Yeah. And that's the problem. I love, there was a line in Snowden's book I got to find because I love the way he phrased it really well. But in short, he says, when he worked for Dell, he worked as an engineer, but the sales guy, he goes, basically, the sales guy would go in there and sell the government on all kinds of amazing features that only Dell can do that our competitors couldn't. My job was to actually make him not be a liar and keep us just enough, create a product that worked just good enough so we wouldn't get sued and put in jail for lying to the government about products that didn't exist.
shh, that's the American secret.
Yeah. There's some sales guy that sells you everything, and there's some engineer going, "You told them what?"
Exactly. Like, dude, we
doesn't
had
work
it.
like
We
that.
had the contract. Why did you say anything?
Well, I wasn't going to sign it unless I told them it did the thing. Now your job is to go make it do the thing. Welcome to how that works. So, oh yeah, the TSA scanners, the scanners in Afghanistan. Well, look at and it happens in the private sector.
Oh yeah, I do remember that bomb scanner
Yep.
from Afghanistan.
And there's two separate documentaries on Theranos, that billion-dollar company, that girl that faked out everyone, claimed that she could take and do DNA analysis and full blood analysis from a drop of blood, and they gave her like $10 billion, and it was all based on a lie that she couldn't do it.
Yikes.
And she thought her whole concept was just if she took the money, she would be able to fund the research to make a reality out of the lie she told.
Yeah.
I mean, she never admits she told a lie. But yeah, watch that documentary. You're just dumbfounded at the A-list of venture capital. $10 billion, I think, what was Theranos finally worth? I think their top worth was over $20 billion. Theranos value. What their highest valuation hit? A fallen unicorn. Yeah, 10 billion. They hit 10 billion. She was the youngest female CEO to be worth that much. $10 billion. Elizabeth Holmes. Watch the documentary. I think that's all we have for today, though, right? I don't think you guys got anything else to throw in here.
I threw a couple quick stories, and we don't have to do full blown out. I just basically just touch on the headlines. I put them in the Keybase.
Let me pull them up.
Yeah, we can just run through those really quick.
Sure.
Just some couple of little interesting things.
There we go. What do we got here?
The first one.
NYPD pulls the fingerprint data due to ransomware scare. Aw. New York Police Department pulled live scan fingerprint tracking system offline after a ransomware virus spread to 23 machines connecting the database over the weekend. That's not good.
Opportunistic scanners.
Yeah.
Yes. Now this is I'm not mad at that.
Not mad at them for that?
Nah, sometimes you just don't want those prints to come back. And these hackers just helped you out over the weekend.
They just helped a bunch of people out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see. I also had the one. I think you clicked on the last one.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I
I got a
I'm
whole
doing. Let me
list.
pull up to the first one.
Yeah.
Is it the? All right, here we go.
About the radiographer.
Yeah, look at this. So, NHS radiographer 32 faces jail after illegally assessing more than 200 female patients' personal records before hounding them for dates. Oh, what a creepy dick! Wow.
Look at this guy.
That's Mr. Creepy there.
That's just
Andrew,
not cool.
you're creepy.
Just ask, why Andrew?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
That's not as bad as the guy that swapped out all the in vitro fertilization for his own instead of the other people that brought it in.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, there is at least one level creepier to him, but
Wow.
You just went subsonic creep.
The IVF bandit.
he's just like, I'm pregnant with my
That
kids.
baby ain't
So
mine.
this extra says the medic then began hounding the women, some of whom were domestic abuse victims, with a string of messages on Facebook and WhatsApp in a desperate bid to get into relationships with them.
Desperate bid.
Yikes!
My boy, you never heard of like.
Yo,
Bug bounty firm HackerOne suffers sloppy cut and paste breach. What?
Yeah.
HackerOne paid a bug bounty of $20,000 to a community who discovered the breach in the cybersecurity platform. So he hacked HackerOne and found it. So that's interesting.
yeah. Sometimes the platform also needs to be tested.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. That's why I put this one in there.
$20,000 tested is not a bad thing.
Even HackerOne isn't perfect.
No, and you know what? I like
They
that
pay
admit
out
it.
on themselves all the time.
Yeah, and that's great. That's what makes them better.
Yep.
Yep, that not bad at all. 20,000 according to Hacker, less than 5. Blah blah blah. Cool. No, that's not bad. And paid out, all of which were contacted within 24 hours of recipient for the incident. The HackerOne paid the user $20,000. Straight up. That's what though. That's a good payout because we talked last time. I think it was about the Unified vulnerability. They did some arguing to get the CVE to the right level. They did right by the person in the end, but it did take some debate before they got the CVE at the right price level for them.
This next story.
Hacker steal 49 million.
Nope, the Mage Cart.
Oh, hold on, Mage Cart. Let me jump over that one second.
I know Xavier loves Mage Cart attacks.
Yeah,
and then we also love Smith & Wesson.
Smith & Wesson, Mage Cart. Ooh. Because this was the whole Darknet Diaries, the last one. You guys listen to it?
Nope.
No, I haven't.
You're going to
I've
Mage...
been swamped lately, man.
I
Haven't been living any life, just been working.
It's all right, though.
That's what happens when you work for yourself. There's no work-life balance.
There's no work-life balance. It just goes out the door.
Mm-hmm.
Digital skimming hackers have been in action again, this time targeting a website leading U.S. gun makers. Really? I never thought about buying. You can buy them online?
Mm-hmm.
What? Can you?
I'm old school, man. All of them were purchased with cash.
I'm sick. Tom got a Dunham's K.
I've been paying cash for
Tom,
it.
have you ever purchased a firearm from Dunham's?
No. Walmart, maybe.
I
I had
think
a
only thing
shotgun break while I was out once. And I was like, I go get another one.
I've never bought a firearm from.
Wait, Tom's shotgun just broke while he was out. What are you doing with your shotgun
How
that is
does
just
this break?
breaking while you out?
I had that shotgun since I was a kid. They went click and it didn't shoot. And I was out hunting. I'm like, well,
Telling the
this
dude,
sucks.
like, wait 1 second.
Wait,
Before I kill you, I gotta go to Walmart to go get another one of
Walmart.
these.
I was actually hunting game. But, yeah. And
Is that what the kids call it these days?
That's what the kids are calling these days, you know?
Hunting game.
Hunting game.
So yeah, so
Smoking
anybody out
weed,
there
smoking
shopping for guns this holiday season,
You
be
got-
careful.
Yeah.
Because Mage Cart is.
Mage, cart, skimming code, and infrastructure identical campaign Oh wow, yeah. Go through the Dark Knight Diaries breaks it down really good. It's a good episode of how these skimmers get in there and some of the big hacks that occur around it. So definitely a problem. Actually, I should have just left it open. Hackers steal 49 million. In cryptocurrency. Wow.
Yes.
That's gonna keep happening.
Yes.
Yeah. New Delhi. South Korea cryptocurrency exchange Upbit has confirmed hackers stole 49 million worth of cryptocurrency. Upbit CEO Lee revealed in an official blog post. Were transferred. The company will cover its losses of customer with its own assets. Upbit estimates it take at least 2 weeks for the deposit withdrawal to resume. Wow.
Yikes.
I don't have any information how it happened though.
49 million.
Yeah. I wanted to know how they got hacked. It's very vague. It's just kind of that they got hacked. But,
Same way. No, I'm not going to say that.
Yeah. 2FA, SIM hijack,
And
targeted
I think I got one more. I got one last story.
Which one's that one?
The one, it was just before the 49 million cryptocurrency breach. It was about the...
Baker?
Yeah.
All right. Baker County student could face felony for reported hacking school's Wi-Fi to avoid doing work.
He's 12.
That's not a felony.
He's 12.
Yeah, it's not. I'm not saying
That's
it is.
criminal mischief.
Criminal
That's
mischief.
definitely criminal mischief.
criminal
That's
mischief.
criminal
That's
mischief.
not-
A 12-year-old student could face felony charges after reportedly hacking into the Baker County Middle School Wi-Fi about 2 weeks ago, all because the student didn't want to do schoolwork. Well, and I got to admit, I just got an email from one of my son's teachers because he didn't really want to participate in class either. The good news is my son didn't hack things, but my son has started using Kali Linux and all kinds of fun stuff, so I will have to worry about being in the news at some point now. I'm trying to coach him on this and keep him out of trouble. How did he actually break it?
He used the school-issued laptop.
It went to 192.1.1.
Exactly.
Like all the
Literally.
great hackers do.
Literally.
And then
That's
he
what
went,
he did.
1.1 doesn't work? What about 0.1?
That's literally
What
he
about
did.
0.254? What about 1.254? Oh, that one works. Let me try admin. No? Admin password. No?
like,
what about just admin? Oh, that works.
And like our other friend, you know, who likes to hack off of Windows, explained to us, you know, sometimes you get different handshakes and permissions.
Knocked out the internet district-wide? What kind of shit show do they have configured?
A flat network.
A flat
They're
network?
using Unify, and he just was like, forget all the APs.
So it's
just
not
forgetting APs. They're just blinking blue.
it's
I
not
just unadopted the
Just
network.
unadopted the entire network.
and so
SD-WAN.
they're basically mad at themselves that they had all this and a 12-year-old figured it out and was able to just knock down the whole school system from one hack that probably wasn't even that sophisticated.
He probably just went to settings and put reset all settings.
It
Reset
knocked
all
the
settings.
bell out. It knocked all kind of communications
Reset
out.
all settings. Done.
Dude, that's... Yeah.
I did way weirder shit in high school on the computer networks and never got in trouble. This kid's totally fine.
Yeah, they're upset because the ineptitude that configured it.
Exactly.
But having-
exactly.
I was laughing because I seen some JIRA tickets get closed today. And I was really confused when I seen them. They weren't mine. They was from work we actually do with the school district. I seen it. I'm just like, why? I messaged one of my other guys. I'm like, why are JIRA tickets getting closed? I said, didn't we do that work like in the spring? They're like, yeah. The IT guys at the school are just around to it. They're just now programming something we plugged in. And I'm
See.
like, holy shit, dude. That's been sitting there with those defaults for a while. Like we told them, like configure this shit the day we installed it because they want to set all the passwords so we don't even have access. That's fine.
But
Yeah.
the problem is now someone has to go in and do that, and
And then no one
it's up
does
to
it for 6
them on
months.
how long they wait to go do it.
It is. I was confused. I'm like, I remember being billed and paid for that in the spring. It's like December and they're finally. I'm like, why is this ticket just getting closed?
They might be calling back for some
they will.
remediation.
It's not if the network's pwned over there. Honestly, it's how much it's pwned is the thing we don't know.
Oh boy.
It's not if you've been hacked. It's how many hackers are hanging out in here. That's what we don't really know.
Yeah. That's no good.
Yeah, we've got. They're clients because we're doing physical infrastructure. I don't do the IT for them, so we can only make suggestions and facepalm a lot, but we can't actually make it happen. and they'll need a incident response, and then we'll have Xavier in there doing a whole incident response and all that. And it's not like we want this to happen. I'm not being like some smart ass, like I'm just waiting for you to fail or something. I'm giving you every opportunity not to fail, but that doesn't mean you won't fail.
Right.
And people do some weird shit.
People fuck up.
People fuck up. I will leave you this though, fucking up, and I don't know what inspired this person to do this, but it's a very large facility. Hi, because he knows me from YouTube in case he's watching. Sorry, I'm not going to name you by name, and you know, because I knew when the guy said the phone, I really regret my decision to do this. Is how this started out. He deleted the config out of a core switch. And what the core switch does is where all the different networks start, and then fiber at 10 gig connections out to all the other switches across 6 separate buildings and over 300 Wi-Fi devices and all the switching and networking and routing that supports it, and the several thousand users on there. And when you delete the config on the core switch, all the VLANs don't exist anymore, so all the traffic just propagated across all the thousands of people. Some people went on some networks, some people went on other networks, and it just turned into like when it's like just like that red flashing dashboard when you get to it. He's like, we had a minor power outage and it wasn't working, and for some reason I hit reset on the core switch, but not reset, like I just wiped the config. And I'm just like, you didn't really, did you? This is a joke, right?
He did.
And then we're like, oh, no, look at the downstream and all the shit having the wrong IP. Oh, yeah, you definitely did this. So, all right, you just wanted to create some billable hours. All right, we're ready for this.
Ouch.
He's like, do you remember how you set that up, Tom? I said, I gave you a backup file of it. Yeah, I don't have that now. I said, well, I didn't take it off site. You're an IT dude. I kind of trusted you with it. I don't have that right now. I wiped that config too. He deleted the backup.
Ouch.
A long time ago, not recently. He deleted that figuring it was in the switch. Yeah, we talked a lot after that. We fixed it. So I don't know. He's actually someone I respect. I think he's a smart guy. So if you're watching, I didn't lose respect for you. I'm just really confused, as you are, as to why you did it. We still like you. Don't worry. We're just puzzled. We're not sure why you thought that was the right idea. I guess we've all had that moment where you just click the button and there's a pause and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
I just did that.
I mean, that's how we learn.
I think at one time I have, at least once in my career, powered down a server remotely. Instead of hit restart, I'd say shut down -H instead of -R. And thinking, I'm really far away from that. And I now either have to call someone and press a button and get them in that back room, or I got to go drive to that location because I didn't do a -R. I memory muscle typed -H for halt.
Why are you not
R.
just clicking Why are you not just typing a reboot?
I don't know, because I'm used to this command because I started on Unix back in 1999, back when that wasn't an option.
Oh my God, the website is down used to be my shit, man. I missed that. Brian Esser just really reminded me.
Oh, the website down video?
The
Fuck
website
yeah.
is down.
Fuck yeah, that's good.
Fuck. When he took a screenshot of the guy's fucking desktop and made it his
Yes.
desktop background because he deleted all this shit, and he was just like, yeah, but I can't click anything now. And he's like, oh, fuck. Yeah, man, I really need all that shit. I really need it. Man, I miss.
That was funny.
Website is down. That used to be my shit back in the day.
Yeah. So that's what we have for you folks.
That is it for today. Thanks for joining us.
We'll be back next week.
With more breaches, more ponage, more jokes.
See, I do the same thing. Shut down -H now, -R now. That's just my habit. Like, okay, someone said you can hit, I'm personal on this. Like, I know if we hit Control L, it clears. But I like typing the word clear. I don't know why. But
I didn't know that Control L clear.
Yeah, Control L clear.
Yeah, I'll always type clear.
I've always
Only no clear.
Yeah, I did notice though. I think it works like this. So if we ls, and then if I make it bigger, make it smaller, it goes. You can see more. If we hit Control, I think if I make it bigger though, even Control L does that. So that's my excuse to why I don't do it. But if you take clear, it actually clears. But it's weird that Control L has a different function. It doesn't actually clear. But I don't know. There's little things. It's just one of those. Once you get used to muscle memory typing stuff when you're doing stuff, I don't know. You always kind of do it. But We're shutting down Dash H now. There's a few more things these gentlemen got to go do. I got to go do a few things.
Yes.
So we didn't have as long for the show. At some point in the future, this show will be done probably remotely. We're working out the details on that just to give you guys a heads up.
2020.
There are going to be some changes in 2020. But that might open up some opportunity because when we're all sitting at home, we get a little bit more time. We don't got to try to drive somewhere, so we can cut out the drive time and spend more time talking with you and chatting with you and dig into more stuff. So
It takes literally an hour to drive here.
Literally.
It took about an hour, right? We left at 5:30.
I'm going to be on the scene reporting live from the breach with my suit on and my Ted Koppel wig.
hit the like button, smash the like. 73 fucking people.
Thank you, guys.
But 23 likes. Can we fix that? Can we smash that like button? Help that algorithm. Hit that subscribe.
Yes, please help the algorithm. We are trying to expand.
These metrics mean something to sponsors that would buy us more whiskey.
Yes.
And thank you. There is at least $40 more put towards your whiskey fund in my last live stream. People threw money at me on my live stream and said dedicate it. And it was $40. And I said all right. They said buy whiskey with it. I said I can do that. Even if we're doing it remotely, I'll still because I don't mind. I'll drive over to Xavier's. Electricity's cheap. I can't say gas is cheap no more. Electricity's cheap. So
Send Mo Red Bull money
Send Mo
since
Red
I don't
Bulls.
drink.
Mo's gonna be a little bit further away.
Yes, I'll be quite far.
We'll talk about that at another time.
Yes.
Xavier, you may do the honors whenever you'd like there, sir. Do the shutdown -H button.
See y'all
Peace.
later.